At the Sermon of the Mount, as recorded in the Bible, Jesus Christ has asked us to seek. That advice is very useful, very practical with regard to our material success, material well-being. We have to seek what we require in our life if we have to lead a successful life. But this advice is not correct with regard to the spiritual success ending in enlightenment. Seeking is an impediment to enlightenment. Seeking is based on our desire to acquire what we require. Enlightenment means the ending of all desires. It is called tanhakkaya in Pali. The Nirvana is denoted as tanhakkaya in Pali, meaning Nirvana is the extinction of the thirst for pleasure. Tanha comes from the Sanskrit word trishna. Trishna means thirst. The Pali term is used by the Buddha with the meaning of mental thirst. Mental thirst is the desire of the mind. He refers to the Buddha referred to three types of basic desires. Kama tanha is the desire for sensual pleasures, the desire to please senses. Bhava tanha in Pali means the bhava is to happen, manifestation. That in bhava tanha we seek, we desire the happening of things that we desire in the way that we desire. Even sensual pleasures, we have our own taste. The taste of our eye, ear or nose, they are different from person to person. We have our ideal desires with regard to our sensory desires. Then happening of that ideal desire, manifestation, that happening, we desire. And that desire is called a positive desire, and it is referred to in Buddha's language as bhava tanha, the desire for the happening. There is a negative desire. We don't want the things that are unpleasant to happen. What we dislike, we don't want to happen. And there is a negative desire for not happening. Positive desire called bhava tanha is for the happening. Negative desire, negative thirst of the mind called vibhava tanha is not for the happening. In the very first sermon called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Buddha referred to this thirst for this triple thirst, that is, the desire in its original form. Desire is the root cause of all our suffering. Here I use the word suffering because the word used by the Buddha as dukkha is translated into English as suffering. though it is not a complete, perfect translation. Because the word dukkha contains a wider meaning, but it includes suffering. Mental suffering is a form of dukkha. And that mental suffering is caused by our desire for the positive desire for the happening of things that we like, negative desire for not happening things that we dislike, and also our basic desire for sensual enjoyments, the desire to please our sense organs. In this context, for material success, we have to seek what we desire. Seeking is based on desire. And desire is based on the idea of self. Buddha's teaching is called anattata. There is no soul, there is no self, actually, according to Buddha's teaching. The first step to Nirvana, called extreme meaning stage, in Pali is called Sotapanna stage. The first step is the extinction of the concept of self, the belief in a self, the idea of self, realizing that there is actually no self in our mind or body. We refer to our body as myself, and we think of our mind as ourself. But in reality, there is nothing permanent either in our mind or in our body. Body is constantly changing and the mind is constantly changing. That is why Heraclitus, who lived in the 5th century BC, almost at the time of the Buddha, said, "No one can step into the same river twice." In fact, we can't step into a river even once. When we stop, the river that we thought of stepping into has gone down. It has disappeared. That is what happens both in our mind and the body. They are constantly, dynamically, instantly changing. Therefore, there is nothing that we can identify as a permanent self in our mind or in our body. What we call ourself is the sum total of our memories. We remember ourselves as a small child, baby, a big child, grown-up child, a mature person, a young person, a mature person, old person, we remember. Because of our memories, we think, I am there, there is I am continuing day by day, and that is myself. That is all our memories. Therefore, desire is based on the idea that our memory, our sum total of knowledge, our sum total knowing, that is inside our body. There is memory throughout the body, in every cell, in every drop of blood, in every atom, in every subatomic particle in our body. And mind is a product of our body. The energy, the fuel is supplied by the body for the manifestation of our mind. But in fact, both the mind and the body are constantly changing, and there is no permanent identity in either or the mind or the body. It is this realization that leads the first step on a permanent, direct path to Nirvana, starting with the extreme beginning stage called Sotapannahood. Thereafter, there is no seeking, there is no doing. In the Ratana Sutta, Buddha said, after that first stage, Chachabi Thanani Ababbo Katun. All our 6 sense organs, the external 5 organs, eye, ear, nose, etc., and the internal organ called mind, they do nothing because there is no doer. The idea of a doer, idea of a self, has vanished. In this context, on the path of enlightenment, we are not seeking. Even seeking enlightenment is an impediment to enlightenment. The statement of Bible is true only with regard to our day-to-day material life. In the Sermon Mountain, these are the words used by Jesus Christ. Ask and you will receive. But with regard to Nirvana, if you ask Nirvana, you will never receive. Or Buddha give me Nirvana, Buddha can never give you Nirvana. You can't get Nirvana by asking somebody. Or monk, give me Nirvana, nobody can give you Nirvana. You can't get Nirvana by asking somebody, even asking Buddha. You can't pray for Nirvana. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. You can't find Nirvana by seeking, because in seeking there is a desire. Nirvana is desirelessness. Therefore, with desire in the mind, you can't realize desirelessness. Desire has to vanish completely, get extinct for you to realize the desirelessness. Nirvana is called tanhakaya, meaning desirelessness. Knock and the door will be open to you. There is no place that we can knock. Nirvana is nowhere else outside us for us to knock. Nirvana is inside us. It is nothing but the emptiness in us. What is in us? It is our mind. Mind is the basic content of our body. Mind contains ideas, thoughts, feelings, concepts. They are only illusions. All ideas are illusions. They are images, like the image in a mirror. Your image may be there in the mirror, but you are not that image. There must be some image in a picture hall, in a cinema hall, in a screen. That image is not the real person. That is only image. There can be an image in the TV or in the computer. They are only images, they are mirages. Therefore, you cannot knock your mind to find out and seek for the mind to get opened up for the Nirvana. Jesus Christ further said, for everyone who asks will receive, And anyone who seeks will find, and the door will be opened to him who knocks. That's what the statement recorded in the Bible with regard to this declaration of Jesus Christ at the Sermon on the Mountain. In Buddhism, in the Buddha's path, as I mentioned, seeking is the main obstacle, main impediment for enlightenment. At that time of the Buddha, every disciple of the Buddha, after being enlightened, goes to the Buddha and inform him, not that I am enlightened or there is enlightenment in me. These are the words that you get in many sermons recorded in the Buddhist canon. For example, in the Susima Sutta, in the Samyutta Nikaya, volume 2, and that sutta or that discourse is found in page 188, there is a report that many disciples almost daily go to the Buddha and utter these words after they are being enlightenment. Kina jati. Kina means extinct. Jati means rebirth. There is no more rebirth. The enlightenment doesn't say I am enlightened, he said there is no rebirth. Kina. Vusitam brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means the sublime living. The sublime living has been completed. Katam karaniyam. Karani means what should be done. All has been done. Katam karaniyam. All what should be done has been done. Na parang ittatayati. There is no more to be done. That means there is no more seeking. There is nothing to do. Doing is not the path to enlightenment. Path to enlightenment is not doing. Not doing in thoughts, words, and deeds. By way of thoughts, by way of words, by way of deeds. The first step is refraining from doing something evil. Sabba papa sakarana. That is the advice given by the Buddha for his first 20 years after enlightenment to all his disciples. Start with abstaining from doing what is evil, what is bad to oneself and bad to others. And that is called sila. When you don't do anything bad, anything evil, there is a meritorious nature in your mind. If you don't hate, then there is altruistic love in your mind. If you have no ill will, then there is a good will in you. Removing bad elements from the mind. Removing defilement from the mind is the path to cleaning the mind. And that goodness in the mind is called kusala. Kusalasa upasampada. When you remove the evil nature of your mind, you will see the good nature of the mind. That good nature that has been covered up by the evil nature. Kusalasa upasampada. Then what happens is, you had pain, suffering due to the evil nature of your mind. When there is a good nature of the mind, it becomes very pleasant, very pleasing, very comfortable, and you become happy and you get attached to your goodness. That very attachment is a form of desire for the continuation of that pleasant nature of the mind. Then the third step is sachitta pariyodapana, cleansing the mind, clearing the mind. You start with clearing the mind, clearing away the bad nature, and next step is clearing away even the good nature, the good mentality, because you get attached to it. And the mentality, whether good or bad, is an image. Hatred is an image. Love is an image. Kindness is an image. Generosity is a mental image, mental form, mental formations. Enlightenment is the extinction of all mental formations, ideas and feelings. That is what Buddha said in his first paean of joy that he uttered after enlightenment, saying, Visankara gatan citta. Image formation in the mind came to an end, got extinct. No more images. Then he referred to the mental state as Nirvana, and he identified as the sunyata, voidness, emptiness of the mind getting empty of its content. The content of mind is composed of ideas, thoughts and feelings, concepts. No more thought formation. And no more burden of thinking. Thinking completely ceased at the enlightenment. Thinking is based on our desire. All our desires are basically seeking happiness. The perfect state, the perfect bliss, which is neither happiness nor unhappiness, is called Nirvana, and that is not a state that is done. It is not born, ajata. It is not done, akata. It is not composed, asankata. It is not a new happening, abhuta. That emptiness is there in your mind throughout. You can't seek it outside. It is in you. That is the last advice given by the Buddha just before his passing away to his last pupil called Subhadda. Subhadda was a very intelligent person. He had two questions. One question is, what is there in Nirvana? What is the content of Nirvana? What is there in Nirvana? What do you get in Nirvana? Buddha says emptiness. Akase padannati. There is no element in emptiness. There is nothing in emptiness. Nirvana is emptiness. Emptiness you can't seek anywhere. Both materially and mentally, our world is filled with things. Material things and mental formations. Mind is filled with mental formations. The world outside is filled with material things. But everything, both in the mind and in the world outside, is within an emptiness, within that empty space. And that space is boundless. Within the boundless space of emptiness. And that emptiness, Buddha referred, is found nowhere else but within our own mind. Because according to the Buddha in the Rohata Sutta, the entire world that we experience is not outside us, but inside our own mind, because we can experience nothing other than the mental formations. The things we can see means the eye see an image, and the eye send a signal to the mind, and mind with the help of the memories form an image, and we experience the image, not a thing outside. When there is no image, mind is empty. You can't knock and get at it. You can't seek and find it. As I mentioned, seeking is always based on desire. Nirvana is desirelessness. Ending of desire means ending of seeking. Ending of seeking is enlightenment. Na parang ittatayat, as I mentioned earlier, enlightenment says there is no more to be sought, no more to be done. Katang karane, everything that should be done has been done. And no more desire to enjoy life anymore in birth to birth. It says, Kina Jati, end of living. We live to enjoy. We live and we enjoy, and we are always seeking enjoyment, sensory pleasures, things to please our sense organs. End of seeking is the end of desire. End of desire is the enlightenment. And that has to happen step by step from moment to moment. One by one, our desires may drop and vanish. Once we realize the reality of things as they are. And non-seeking mind is called free from attachment, free from no liking with ragi, no disliking with dosi, no ignorance of the reality of things with mohi. That is the end of seeking, and that is enlightenment.